Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich finished fourth in Iowa and isn't wasting any time hitting back at Mitt Romney here in New Hampshire.
Now, correspondent Dean Reynolds has been following the Gingrich campaign. Good morning, Dean.
Good morning.
Looks like Newt Gingrich left Iowa in somewhat of a bad mood.
Yeah, he seemed a little bitter.
Yeah.
I think he's going to try a much more aggressive approach in New Hampshire, if only to try to stall Romney so that Gingrich can get to South Carolina, which he finds to be much more fertile field. Gingrich got here early this morning, determined to sharpen his message and his criticism of Romney. And you could see that in his remarks last night in Des Moines.
We'll have one other great debate, and that is whether this party wants a Reagan conservative who helped change Washington in the 1980s with Ronald Reagan and helped change Washington in the 1990s as Speaker of the House, somebody who is into changing Washington. Or we want a Massachusetts moderate who, in fact, will be pretty good at managing the decay, but has given no evidence in his years at Massachusetts of any ability to change the culture or change the political structure or change the government.
Now, that is essentially the message in that full-page ad today in the Manchester Union Leader, The Choice, the Massachusetts moderate that Romney is being depicted as versus the Reagan conservative. The Gingrich folks really got blindsided by the negative advertising in Iowa, and they're determined not to let that happen again here. They're going to try to define Romney much as he defined Gingrich, and in words and ways that Romney may not appreciate.
Is it a different landscape at all for Gingrich, because Romney has such a big lead in New Hampshire? Does he sort of want to get the conversation away from New Hampshire altogether and just keep it focused on what follows in South Carolina?
Well, yeah, I mean, he would definitely want to get to South Carolina as quickly as he possibly can. But with Romney up in the 40% up here, they feel that if they can drive him down to like the mid-30s, it would be an embarrassment. That's what they're trying to draw some blood, you know. And if they can do that, then they feel that'll be, you know, a pretty decent showing for them, a result for them, and they can go on to South Carolina and raise some money, too. That's the other thing. They think they can go to Texas if Rick Perry really drops out of the race. Go to Texas and look at that treasure trove of donations that might be more inclined to support Gingrich than Romney.
And I want to bring Bill Whitaker back in on this point, Bill, because Newt Gingrich talks about Mitt Romney as a Massachusetts moderate, as if that's a dirty word. But here in New Hampshire, that might not hurt him so much.
It might not hurt him so much. But what's interesting is that in Iowa, Mitt Romney was able to pull about 25%. Which you look back 4 years ago, that's about what he got 4 years ago.
Right.
And it's also what he's been getting in the national polls leading up to these primaries and caucuses. So it could indicate that Romney has a ceiling problem. He's got to break through that 25%. And I think he's looking to New Hampshire to help him come up with some bigger numbers.
Right. Well, the big question is, does he get those bigger numbers once some of the lower-ranking candidates drop out?
Yeah.
Bill Whitaker and Dean Reynolds, thank you so much for joining us this morning.